Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Thoughts. I'm Joe Van, and as today's title suggests, I'm going to be reading to you guys the introductory thought pieces at the beginning of each of my novels. Though the series I'm currently writing is going to be a hexalogy, meaning a double trilogy or a 6-book series, I've so far currently only completed 4. So for today's video, I will be reading to you 4 half-page or page-long introductory thought pieces. I hope you guys enjoy this, and comment down below for anything you might want to see in the future. So, without any further ado, I will begin with the first book, Deviance. Is your life a series of random events, or is it a well-orchestrated plan, known only as destiny? Futurology is a science, art, and practice of hypothesizing possible futures. Practitioners stress the importance of alternative and multiple futures, rather than one monolithic future. They frown upon the limitations of predictions and probabilities versus the possible creation of endless preferable futures. Like many modern-day thinkers, futurologists consider David Kellogg Lewis's theory of modal realism to hold great weight. Modal realism is the view that all possible worlds are as real as this one. Was I born for a reason? What is my purpose? Life in all of its complexity is what you make of it. The meaning of life is discovered by those willing to create it for themselves. Some do not have the strength. Others do not care to make any meaning. But for Nathan Ferrantino, reason and purpose are not created by him. They are crafted by entities far greater than he could ever conceive. On the day of his high school graduation, these forces begin to turn the cog of destiny, changing Nathan's life forever. It is on this fateful day, dear reader, that our story begins. So at the end there, it obviously focuses on the story, but the rest of these are more separated from the beginning of Chapter 1. Now for the second book, Blood Redemption. Project MK Ultra was a top-secret initiative run by the United States of America's Central Intelligence Agency between the years of 1953 to 1973. Within its 20 years of noted operations, the project dove deep into torture interrogation techniques involving mind control. Organized through the Scientific Intelligence Division of the CIA, the project coordinated with the Special Operations Division of the U.S. Army's Chemical Corps. Research was conducted at colleges and universities, in addition to hospitals, prisons, bars, and many more public institutions. It is hard to tell nowadays what we can take in as certainty, or what might be a ruse. Though secrets have been around since the dawn of intelligent life, as civilization grows, so are the complexities of secrecy and the wavering of certainty. Society holds many common certainties, such as, there are no such things as ghosts or aliens. But what we choose as open and closed thoughts are never truths, simply a blind eye to whatever the true answer is. Believing in something or someone can be a good situation for stability purposes. But the only true thing in this life is that you cannot trust anything or anyone. So obviously that mini thought piece was a lot more menacing. It had dark undertones to set up the novel it was about to give to the readers. But moving on, we now have Book 3, The Land of N, Birth of a King. What we call fundamentalism is the strict following to the basic principles of any subject or discipline. We are all born into a society and grow similarities that allow us to become comfortable about everyday interactions and expectations. Fundamentalism can differ dramatically depending on the individual's perception on rules and/or morals. Some people can be open to new ways of thinking, whereas others simply cannot accept other modes of life but theirs. Harmony with open-mindedness is an important commodity to hold if you ever want to live a happy and comfortable life. Those that do not accept difference are often confused, which can harbor fear. Fear that has the potential to grow into hatred and violence. Certain individuals can, in turn, use the fear of many to create movements that have the potential to destroy entire peoples. Keeping an open mind brings patience, harmony, and happiness, where its opposite leads only to destruction. The key is, and will always be, proper leadership. To lead is one thing, and to know how to lead is something else entirely. Diversity makes proper leadership hard, but if done right, sustainable levels of peace can be reached. Some people are born with the gift to lead, and others are shoved into it and learn on the way. It is hard to determine which is more important, the ability to lead or the personality to lead. One takes practice, and the other, like old dogs, cannot be taught. Finally, we have the fourth book, Cure for a Nightmare. The musical piece Te Deum, written and composed by Krzysztof Penderecki in the years 1979 and 1980, was inspired through the anointing of the first pope from Poland in 1978. Pope John Paul II came from Poland when it was still a communist country, and Catholicism was suppressed. Based on the then developments in Poland, Te Deum was expected to be an exuberant festive work, but that was not the case. It is a thoughtful work and almost a lament. It is known today as music accompanying the feeling of dread, fear, and others in the close spectrum, none of which, however, take away from its beauty. Reality is subjective. However, it is suggested by philosophers such as Immanuel Kant that we all live in the real world, the world of the noumenon, yet it is forever clouded by our perceptions given to us by our senses. Without our senses, we would have no way of experiencing reality at all, thus making it essentially impossible to experience the real world, only the world of the phenomenal. Imagine, however, for a moment if a human baby were to be born with the natural ability of thought, and yet had no sense of sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, proprioception, balance, and every other of the multitude of senses we have at our disposal. The child would never learn anything and most likely be euthanized, but in its short existence it would have the ability to dream. What kind of dreams would it have without any knowledge of sounds and shapes? Or another matter, what happens to us when we all die? We will lose our sensory abilities because they are given to us by our bodies. So what happens? There are many ideas, but there will never be any absolute answers. And that has been Introductions. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I appreciate your time. I love you all to no end, as you know. And until next time, keep on thinking. Goodbye.